We Make Movies is recorded in front of a live audience in Los Angeles and is hosted by WeMakeMovies.org. Hello and welcome back to How We Make Movies. My name's Amanda Lippert and I'll be your host. Tonight we'll be talking with the producer and director of the new indie film 3 Days of Normal. Please welcome our guests, Jared Parsons and Ishai Setton. You guys were both originally early on We Make Movies people.
Oh, yeah.
This film was workshopped here back in 2009.
We workshopped the script. Yeah, I feel like it was like way in the beginning. But it was.
I think they're saying
it was
2009.
at the complex. It was at the complex, but it was like upstairs in like a little corner.
In one of the smaller rooms.
Yeah. But it was great.
We've grown since then.
But yeah, it's so great and so important to hear.
Hear it out loud. Yeah. How did that influence you guys?
I think it probably didn't influence us as much as it should have. But you just feel the flow of scenes, you know, and you get a better sense of whether or not a character sounds like a character and what their voice is, and a little bit of also like pacing within scenes, you know, and seeing what makes people laugh and seeing what makes people cringe or me cringe.
I feel like that helps more than anything. Like hearing the parts where you didn't even intend for it to be funny, but the audience, you know, really digs it. Yeah. How did you guys go about getting the film funded? So
we sort of built it to be feasible on a low budget, and then when we thought it was close to being done, we started sending it out to people in various walks of life who are far better off than myself. And the same reason that an actor wants to get involved is maybe the same reason that an investor wants to be involved, just because I don't know, this may come off sounding terrible, but I think that there are a lot of people with a lot of money who don't like what they do with their lives. And the chance to be a part of something that they kind of care about and think is special and interesting.
It's redeeming.
Yeah, like I think that's why they do it.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Regardless of kind of like the investment potential or whatever, it's like something about the idea speaks to them, the story speaks to them, and it's kind of it's a lark. It's like a fun, if they like the people that are making the film and like the idea of the film and feel like there's heart in it or whatever attracts them to people, then I think they can respond positively. Most of those people are pretty smart, so I think they're aware of the fact that it is a very risky investment, but I think that they see it more as their opportunity to sort of like be a part of something that would be cool and fun, and festivals are a huge part of that, I think, and credits are fun too, I guess, but I think it's just people wanting to sort of like be a part of something that feels not like maybe what they do the rest of their lives. Is that a traditional way of getting an independent film funded? I'm not exactly sure how most people go about getting... I don't know either. I gotta be honest. Just figuring it out as you go. I mean, I have no idea what other people do. I don't know. I've done it that way several times now. I have no idea how it works in like production companies, and you get agencies attached, and then they package it with this, and I mean, you guys probably dealt with that more of the kitchen, but even that, I think, was...
But the Big Bat Swim, I went through the process a lot, and that we had 27 investors in that movie. It was, we were in no position to say no to anyone, and it started out as, we were just shameless, and we were in a small town in Connecticut for that film, and I remember we did these just really embarrassing, in retrospect, sort of presentations in like art galleries in Connecticut where we would like show short films, and then I did like a PowerPoint about why to invest in movies, and
the Dog and Pony Show.
I was 25.
I hope nobody has that anymore.
With the flea circus and like
the low point was when
bears on tricycles.
There was like some sort of outdoor like street fair. And we decided to like have a table at this street fair.
That's awesome.
Wow.
my wife, my girlfriend at the time, like made these cookies in the shape of Connecticut, and we were like next to. Yeah, it was like, how could they say no? And next to us was like some sort of farm animal stand. So there was like, I just remember at some point sort of like separating myself from the place and being like,
nothing works up your appetite like
handing out cookies.
But now with Kickstarter, you guys can just send things to people digitally, and you don't have to interact with them. It's
never have to say a word to them. Yeah. Shooting in a small town, did you guys find the opposite of LA, that people were really giving and generous with their homes and with their time?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, again, another example of the awesome Chief Stephen Marshall in Washington, New Hampshire, was he's the chief of police, so they have this email blast that goes to everybody in town.
But it's it's actually it's like their sno alert system. It's like their winter alert system. Right. Okay, Karen.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah. But if we needed something like a certain picture car or this or it would go out on the snow alert system. Like citizens of
emergency.
This is super important.
Very important. Yeah. Everyone stop what you're doing.
So we're doing. We're looking for a Jeep. Does anybody have a Jeep?
Right.
The movie people are looking for a Jeep.
Yeah, I mean it becomes a very awesome large family, like the actors all stayed at this bed and breakfast. So like, that lady that ran the bed and breakfast was a whole other part of it, and her sons, and then her, their families, and the people who ran the summer camp, who were like this couple who had left, lawyers from Boston who were like, screw this, we're gonna go run a summer camp in rural New Hampshire, and like, just, just people come out of the woodwork, and you're amazed at how it's sort of like. Part of it is reminding you how much you're like, oh, right, this is like tons of fun. Like you slog away at it in Los Angeles and you're like, how am I going to make a living? And like, what am I going to do?
And then like, here, isn't there?
Yeah. And then you get outside and get to go do it. And
and realize how important your stories are to other people, especially when you're telling their story.
Yeah.
For someone who's just getting into filmmaking, who's where you guys were 10 years ago, what advice would you give? Whether they're in a small town and just thinking about moving to LA, or whether they're already out in LA and struggling to get started?
I don't think you have to move to LA. I think you can probably stay where you are. And I think it's, in some cases, I think, we had to leave LA to make this movie. I think that was actually part of the process of this film. And maybe the other thing I would say is like, try to just maintain whatever it is in that, like, the reason that you did move out here or that you decided to make movies, that like little spark, no matter what happens, no matter how shitty everything gets, like it's just hold on to it in some way, because you can always tap into that. And, I've had the good fortune of having people sort of remind me of that repeatedly through life. And it's like when you get that back, you're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. That's what I want to do. So I think that's.
And the other thing I would add, sorry, I wanted to say this though, but is cherish the people that are around you. Find good people to work with, whether you're in, Washington, New Hampshire shooting little movies, or, in Cleveland or in Los Angeles. Like, if you're making things or you want to make things, find good people and cherish them, and keep working with them. And like if you couldn't glean from our story, like everybody, when I get to do what I want to do to any degree whatsoever, I always want to get people on that I have known and I trust and that I enjoy working with. And, if you find good people who are going to fight the good fight and, keep their swords out for whatever period of time, just stick with them, and you guys will all kind of gradually find a way to kind of, win battles together, I think, and kind of get somewhere cool, hopefully.
Thank you so much, guys.